So thread flip. So the homepage looks really good. Again, I think one of the initial problems that you might have is that there's not enough text here, but we'll see. We'll take a look. So one of my favorite websites to start an SEO audit on is SEO Browser. It's SEO-browser.com. So we type the domain name in here and click Advanced, and we'll see what it gives us. SEO Browser is great because it shows you how a search engine views your website. So it's a really, really cool, cool little trick. Interesting. So we have, so first things first, which is interesting from your homepage point of view, you don't have a title tag. Right, so it's just showing us the URL here. So the first big play here would be to get a title tag in there. So we see on SEO Browser, it gives you a lot of information. Some of this isn't as useful. Like we mentioned earlier in the training, anytime someone's telling you your text-to-page weight ratio or your text-to-code ratio, you usually don't need that, but it's here. Some other...
what does it mean?
That's how much text is on your page relative to the actual code. Again, it's a metric you don't really need to follow. You do have a robots.txt file. There's 67 words on the page. It was loaded in 3.1 seconds. It's based in the United States. Some of this is okay. The big one I really like to look at are the response codes. So, as we talked about earlier, 301 redirects are permanent when a web page permanently moves. So you have a 301 redirect from the HTTP version to the www version, so that's good. That means you are consolidating all of your efforts onto the www version, so that there's no problem there. Then you have a 302 redirect pointing from www to this landing page. So this 302 redirect is a temporary redirect, which basically says you usually use these when a site's down for maintenance, right? When you're temporarily moving something. So a 301 redirect says to the search engine, hey, this page has permanently moved. Ignore the old one and keep the new one, right? A 302 redirect is saying this page is temporarily moved. Come back to the site later and check again. So it keeps you in this flux state, and if you wouldn't ever want to permanently use a temporary redirect, right? Which is effectively what you're doing. Right. So if you can get rid of that, I would recommend doing so. Okay. And again, this is showing us how the search engine's viewing your site. Flip for what you love. Buy, sell, and share styles with women around the world. Peek in your friends' closets and see what they have. And then, oops, you're using IE code. So you're really only on your homepage. You're giving the search engine one sentence to make a determination on what your content is. So again, you do want to design for users, and that's exactly what this landing page is it's very user-friendly and maybe search engine unfriendly, I would say. It doesn't mean you need to change your homepage. It just means you need to, I would probably recommend you add more content, but if you don't want to disrupt the style and the way you're going about things, you just need to sort of make up for that somewhere else, right? And so here's where you can really find out. So I love to go into the Google AdWords keyword tool, and if I think a page is thin on content, threadflip.com, we type the website in. We actually don't need to click exact match, but I just have a habit. E1. And so again, remember this, with this tool, when you type in a domain name, wow. I have never seen it do that.
Do what?
Not return anything.
The only, this I know from Google Analytics, the only organic traffic we've seen is people searching Threadflip.
Really?
Yeah, I might have missed one or something, but yeah, I'm not that surprised.
Right. Okay.
So.
Right. And so in general, when you type in a website, it sends a little bot to your page, crawls all the content, and makes a determination on what that is, right? So we type in Etsy, it goes to the Etsy site and gives us all the content that it's about. This simply comes down to the fact that, I mean, look what we're giving it, right? You're giving the search engine has to make a determination. As humans, we can read this and make a general understanding about what this might be, right? But as a search engine, it's very tough, right? So the play here, and again, this was, I probably wouldn't do this again, but this was sort of what we did. So for most of medical travel, you see the copyright line here? This is where the page used to end, copyright for most of medical travel. And this content was a little bit different. So we didn't have a lot of content here. And then when we typed our domain name into the Google AdWords keyword tool, the search engines, the Google AdWords keyword tool said our page was about home, about us, contact us, that kind of stuff. So what we did, and this is kind of spammy, but a lot of people do it, was we added this big block of text. Again, this is kind of designing for search engines and not for users. It's not that friendly. Some big websites get away with it. But again, you really want to let the search engines know what your site is about. Once we added this block of text, we started ranking really well. And that was because it's crawling a lot more text and making a determination of what it's about. So it's just worth keeping in mind.
So this is just for the homepage?
Right, this is for the homepage. Yeah, so we could take a look at some of your other pages and see if they're ranking well. From what the bots are looking for, it's the URL structure is not as friendly, right? Because being more descriptive about the content and what you're selling is usually what you want to do. Don't get me wrong, pretty much every e-retailer in the world has this problem. It's really hard to deal with it. But you think about it from an apples to apples point of view, threadflip.com/ use dresses San Francisco versus threadflip.com/shop ref equals home and sort by relevancy, right? So that's the distinction that you need to consider. So here's that next page. Whoops. And so the other issue is that it looks like the rest of your pages are all titled Threadflip.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so it's not descriptive, and it's also not a good practice to have the same title over and over and over and over again. So you generally want every page to be more descriptive of what that's about. And so finding, again, it looks like a lot of this will be algorithmically generated, but finding a way to get unique meta descriptions. So it could be, are you guys writing these descriptions or are they done by the users?
It's done by the user.
Yeah. So finding a way to populate this description as the meta description would be great.